I prefer really not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble. In big trouble. And I don't want to be in big trouble.
Turn me up, kid Spiral.
Say I get some weird messages out there.
I have no idea. I'm immune to it now. I'm just like, I just know before I even click in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And then I click in anyway, and I'm like, have a little scan. I'm like,
Yeah.
this
What,
one.
the messages I'll get like,
Funny, like.
oh, can you share my music? I'm in there.
Mate, I get it every day. Can you share this, share that? I'm basically a charity, am I? Like, just share everything. Everyone wants me to share everything. Do you know what I mean? It's like, mate.
Because of the following,
what
bro.
What the fuck do I look like?
Yeah,
here?
yeah.
Can you share this? My man's starting a new business, knitting, bleeding cardigans and all. It's like, listen, I tell you my best to look, but I'm not bleeding cheering on an MMA fight. What do I look like?
We're in, bro, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, before I announce my guest, this is gonna, look, I was playing to you earlier, this is gonna be out in the new year, so happy new year to you guys. I hope you guys have had a good Christmas. You know, Santi brought you bleeding, whatever he's asked for, if you were good this year and stuff. This is the last episode. We're gonna close out the season, and I have an amazing guest on. So it's a good conversation, inspirational, motivational, and hopefully have a bit of crack as well. But like I said, you know, happy new year to everyone. Fresh start. Let's all attack our goals with you know, hard work, dedication, and purpose, lads. You know, and don't give up. It's a fresh start. Forget last year. It's a fresh start for everyone. So yeah, happy new year to everyone. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I have a top-class guest in the building, Mr. Kiefer Crosbie. What's the story, brother?
What's going on?
What's happening?
All right, good man.
Good, bro.
That was a good intro, yeah?
Yeah.
I feel motivated. Going into this
Bro,
new
this is
year,
what I'm about. Do you know what it is, bro? Do you know what's hard when you're the funny guy, bro, yeah? It's when I first started this podcast, everyone expected me to, you know, jump on and just be... It's hard to be funny for an hour, bro. Do you know what I mean? I'll give you moments, like you said to me the other day about the brazzers and all. I won't stitch you up on that. I won't do... But yeah, so I'll have them little moments, but mainly why I wanted to do a podcast was because I have a story, bro. Like, and I see myself going somewhere, you know? And I want to inspire people. And I'm sure, like, you coming from the inner city and stuff like that, and where you are in life with your fighting and stuff, and how you are able to change your life through sport. This is what I do, bro. I want to inspire kids, bro. Do you know what I mean? Because I had no one to look up to, you know? So I want people to look up to me. So but before we get into it, what's the story? How are you? How's things?
Going great, bro, yeah. Fair play to you, yeah. I like shit like this. It's good. It's like, I can resonate, you know what I mean? With people like you. It's easy. Because it's like, regardless of what the fucking outcome of your journey is, it's the grind, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what you put in the work in, you have a plan in your head and you're going to stick to your guns and do it, you know what I mean? It's hard to do it, so... I mean, fair play to you. You know what I mean? You just got to stick to it, and you know what you want, go get it.
Yeah, 100%.
That, you know what I'm saying?
100%. And do you know what? Before I kick off, I want to talk to the guys of how we met. Yeah. We met like girls. Do you ever see when girls are on a night out in the toilets? Hey, and they're all of a sudden best friends, right? Yeah. So I saw you talked about 22s earlier on off cam. So I saw you and Kane on the dance floor, and I'm one of these guys. Maybe I don't know if it's pride, if it's ego. But I'm not one of these. I know who you guys are. I know what you do. But I'm not gonna just, oh yeah, get a picture. Like, I know you get that all the time, and I say your heads be wrecked. I look at you as a person, not what you do. Do you know what I mean? So I said, you know, I seen you on the dance floor. I said, you know, yeah, the boy is cool. Walked on. Then I seen you in the bathroom, and Kim was the one that clocked me first. She's like, oh, you, because I get this a lot, bro. Yeah, I get this a lot. Where, oh, you're the guy off the podcast. And then Keen recognised me. I said, you don't know me hardly. Me? No, Keen, yeah.
He didn't,
right? No, yeah, he did. You didn't have a clue, right? No. And Keen was like, you know, he was like, oh yeah, I get like your TikToks on my WhatsApps and all, blah, blah. And I told him, oh yeah, I follow you. And what was mad for me, he was so happy that I follow him, do you know what I mean? Nice. And you were just parked off there in the corner. I was like, oh, I know you as well. Shook hands, whatever, had the crack. Then we walked outside, got a picture. And then obviously we followed each other on Instagram and stuff. And like I said to you earlier, obviously when you follow me on TikTok, I was like, oh yeah, he's probably buying into what I do, do you know what I mean? So I said, let me get you on, bro, because like I said, I'm inspired by you, you know what I mean?
Yeah, fact, you're a funny cunt.
Like I said, we're gonna get into it, but what I do, bro, yeah, before I start getting into your story and stuff, I know you've been on the boys podcast and stuff. They do like obviously they do zingers when they start off, yeah. So how I start off, I say, what's the gig? So basically, like, what I mean, what's the story? And I touch on like, you know, weekly topics on Twitter or like if something's going on Instagram, whatever. And something that resonates with me with what you posted the other day, and I'll just read it out to you on your story, and I'll get into it. And I want to get your opinion on it because then you have a big platform. Yeah. I have a platform as well, and this is something that's dear to me in my heart as well, you know. So you basically posted this. It's about homelessness, yeah. You said disgraceful, scary times, and it's horrible to witness. Nobody deserves this. 11,000 homeless Irish people now and on the rise. Shame on anyone in power who hasn't fixed this when it's fixable. Yeah. Now, look, obviously, I don't want to get too political about things, and I wanted to touch on this, and I said, right, you have a big following and you have a big voice, and it's good that you touched on this because, like, at the end of the day, you see now how cold it is out there, yeah? And it's like no one, for me, I believe no one should be on the street. So yesterday I'm going to work, bro, yeah? And, I'm walking through Grave Street, so I work in finance, so I work up in Stephen's Green. And I'm like, I don't want to see anyone on the street. Yeah. Because surely, with this weather, they're doing something, you know what I mean? Bro, I'm walking through Grave Street, it's brand new, it's grand. Then I get to the top and I see someone. And I was like, fucking hell. And I don't like this thing, bro, that people do, yeah? Do you ever see when it's raining outside? You probably don't use Facebook, but you go on Facebook, Jesus, I feel sorry for the homeless. That's bullshit. Yeah. What, because it's raining? They're out there 365, 52 weeks in the year, do you know what I mean? Yeah, so, yeah, it's just something for me, because obviously I used to walk here, like, and you don't really see people on the street here in Tala, like, but in town you see them. And I remember one morning, I seen 3 people, bro, beside each other asleep. I was like, this isn't right, you know what I mean? So what's your kind of take on,
on
this?
I grew up in the inner city, so I grew up around homelessness, you know what I mean? I have friends that are homeless. I have friends that are the same age as me that are homeless. And I know them, they're still friends, and I grew up with them, do you know what I mean? They had a home, they were in the flats, and then next of all, now they're on the street, do you know what I mean? Or they're living in hostels. And for me to see that from since I was a kid to now, it's fucking, and nothing's got done about it. It's heartbreaking, do you know what I mean? And where I live, where I'm from, like Church Street, I'm basically surrounded by homeless shelters, drug rehabilitation centres, and hostels, basically all surrounding my surrounding area. So for where I live, they have to go get their food from here to there to drugs. So there's great people that are homeless and there's bad people that are homeless, you know what I mean? And people tend to believe and just think homeless people are bad people. And that's a big problem, do you know what I mean? There's a big stigma around homeless people. They're bad. They're on the street for a reason. And I remember being very young and getting taught that, do you know what I mean, boy, whoever, and that's not true at all, do you know what I mean? People that are on the street aren't fucking bad people, do you know what I mean? Unfortunately, they're on the street. Nobody wants to be on the fucking street. Even if they are drug addicts or whatever, like, you think somebody wants to be a drug addict? No, nobody wants to be a fucking drug addict, do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, for someone to just judge somebody on what their appearance is or how they're talking or how they're looking or whatever, that's very unfair. And to be completely honest, if I was on the fucking street, I'd probably turn to drugs too, do you know what I mean, to cope. I understand that. Having said that, there has to be more done, do you know what I'm saying? There has to be more done. Like, everybody, like, man, there's 11,000 Irish homeless people on the streets. 3,500 of them are children, kids. Now, it's Christmas, and I know what you mean, like, when it's raining, people start feeling like, oh, imagine being homeless today. Yeah, it's horrible. And Christmas, people think, no kid deserves to be homeless. No fucking kid deserves to be homeless in January, February, March, all the way fucking through. I don't give a fuck whether it's Christmas or not. Yeah. I know what you mean, like, Santa's coming, and the image of having a fucking roof over your head and Santa presents, yeah. Whether it's fucking August and the sun is beaming, having your kid queuing up for a bowl of soup on a homeless shelter is not a good fucking image, you know what I'm saying? So it's wrong. And of course, it is fixable. There's empty buildings all around Ireland. There's empty fucking buildings, there's empty apartments, there's empty flats, there's houses, and there's money. Like, they put, like, they're talking about signing off a new thing now to put €100 million to revamp Stephen's Green Shopping Centre to give it a new look. And I seen this the other day, and it was the fucking same day I think about the homeless thing. I put that up, and I was like, you're going to take €100 million out of taxpayers' money now for tourism to make Stephen's Green Shopping Centre look a bit better and be more, give it a little makeover when there's literally 11,000 people on these fucking streets, you know what I'm saying? So I see shit like that and it fucking boils my blood. It just, and the video actually I put up was your man that was in Bray. Man in his 50s, he blocked his face, whatever. He's a 50-year-old man. People that were texting me back knew of him. Genuine lad, worked his whole life, paid his taxes his whole life, had a family, ended up basically going out of work, COVID, the whole shit. Now he's living in a fucking tent. And when you see something like that, 50-year-old Irish man that's worked his whole life, great man, not a drinker, not a drug, didn't do anything wrong, just literally couldn't keep his fucking business going, and then he's not even on the streets, he's in a fucking tent in a park, because he's worried about being on the streets. He can't mix with that crowd in the streets. He's a 50-year-old man, and he doesn't have nobody, do you know what I'm saying? So I can't understand how the fuck that's going on still. I just don't get it. Like, it doesn't click in my head, and I think we're all just distracted by shit. Like, Christmas coming up now, so we're all just focused on that, you know what I mean? The presents and the going out and the nights out, it's great. But then you do, man, you know yourself, even talking about 22 there, saying, you walk outside Club 22, people are coming up to you, have you got change? And you're like, it's like, I'm at the being in here having a good night, and it's like, I'm coming out and you're literally begging me for money, because maybe I'm going to give you some or whatever. And it's like, this person has to go now and fucking sleep in a sleeping bag on the case, you know what I'm saying? And I have to fucking, it just, I don't know, it doesn't click in my head. It's not right at all, do you know what I'm saying? So I don't know what the solution is, but I do know for a fact that the people in power, these cunts in that doll and these people that are in power can fix this. And for whatever fucking reason, whether it's profit, whether it's lack of motivation, I don't fucking know, but they can fix it, you know what I'm saying? They don't. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's important. Like I said, it's great having a platform and being able to, you know, have a laugh, have the crack, but there are issues out there and I feel we should be touching on. And then, like, Irish people, when growing up, obviously being black, being racially abused, all this type of stuff, I used to kind of have hate towards Irish people. Yeah. But now, obviously, the love that I get doing this, and just like my children are Irish, my girl, Irish Nigerian, my colleagues, everyone's sound. You get out of that little, everyone's racist kind of talk, yeah. But and I do agree with Irish people with this one as well, especially, right? Obviously, you know what's going on with Ukraine or whatever, and you know, you are able to put all these people in these hotels. But then your own is just, you know what I mean? Yeah. Now, back then I would have looked at that as ignorance. That's easier being ignorant. But now I hear it, you know what I mean? Like, so, you're right, because the proof's in the pudding, because how are you able to house these people, but your own are there, do you know what I mean? It does not make sense to me. It does not make sense. Building all these apartments that no one can afford, it's wrong, bro. It's madness.
Yeah, that's the other thing as well.
It's madness.
Not being able to afford, it's like they're trying to make us all homeless. It's almost
the cost of living.
It's almost like, the cost of living's gone up. It's nearly impossible to pay rent if you have a normal job. Hopefully you're earning 100 grand a year, hopefully. Yeah. But who the fuck's earning 100 grand a year? No. On an like young fellas like that are young in their 20s, towards that are trying to move out of Maz and Dad's gaff. Do you know what I mean? They can't. Yeah. How can they? Yeah. How are they going to go pay €2,500 for a 1-bed, 2-bed in fucking whatever? Is, you know what I mean? A little basic little fucking apartment, and it's 2.5 grand. And then that's just the rent. Then bills and fuel and petrol. Everything else is just stacking up, man. I'm bleeding sick of filling my car up. It breaks me bleeding hard, man. Every time I'm bleeding one money in the car, I'm like, fuck's sake.
Bro, I was seeing someone. I was seeing someone on Twitter there the other day, bro. Someone paid €8 for a chicken fillet, bro. I said, this is. I slapped it off the fucking counter's face, man. But come here, I appreciate you, bro, sharing them thoughts there, because like I said, it's important. Someone of your stature and your platform to talk with this, you know. And
I'd love to see it get fixed. I really.
No, 100%, bro. I said to my missus this morning, it's like, it's well and good shouting on podcasts and writing stuff on Instagram and all, but what's the next step, the next action?
That's what I'm saying. And you do feel hopeless, because you can put whatever you want on Instagram and this and that, and you almost feel like, I always feel this is kind of a waste of time. Yeah. Because it's like, no matter if I had 5 million bleeding followers or 500 million, doesn't really matter. People like and comment and give out as well. But realistically, nothing's going to happen. And that's a sad part, because it's like, I wish the influence that people did have does make a change. But unfortunately, it fucking doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
There's still homeless people out there. There's still people, you know what I'm saying? It's fucking heartbreaking.
I was talking to a girl on Twitter, and just to close on this segment, she was telling me about, like, obviously I tweeted about it, and she asked me to do a little something, and she goes, I offered a woman money, and she didn't even want money, bro. She just wanted a candle. That broke my heart, bro. Yeah, bro. Something simple as a candle. That's all I want.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And you know what? I can tell you from my experience, and I actually work with homeless people. I don't like to push shit like this.
Yeah, same, bro. Same.
It's just like, whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what you doing this for you, or for them, or for what? Do you know what I mean? But whatever. But it's like, from me talking to people that are homeless on the streets, and I have friends that are homeless, the one thing that people on the streets want is to be recognised as a human, more so than a fucking here's change or here's this, or they just want you to go, how are you, man? You're good today. Do you want anything in the shop? Would you like a cup of tea? Sure. And they'd almost, I've had conversations multiple times with people who actually like break and nearly start crying that I've acknowledged them and said, hey, how are you doing today, mate? And they can't believe that I'm stopping, speaking, looking them in the eye. Of course, here you go, shake your hand. And they can't, that's more to them than here's €2, fuck off. I'm just going to walk on it, throw it in the cup. Have a bit of respect, do you know what I'm saying? Don't walk by these people and treat them like they're not human. These people are humans, you know what I'm saying? And they're unfortunately on the streets. Regardless of what you think in your fucking head, what reason they're there for. But it may or may not be true. Even if it fucking is the worst case scenario. So, are you perfect? Do you know what I'm saying? I'd never walk past anyone and treat them like they're less than I am. Because I could end up in that position very well. And as I said, I have friends like me who are probably doing better than me at one stage in life, who are now homeless. And they went down that route. I know them. I speak to them like a lot. And it kills me. If I look at it and I'm like, fuck, it kicks me into reality. I'm like, right, I'm lucky. I'm blessed, you know what I mean? I'm not even religious, man, but I feel, thank God, I didn't make certain decisions and I went this way instead of that way or whatever, for whatever reason, do you know what I'm saying? But like that, we could all fucking end up worse, you know what I'm saying? So
100%, and we'll segue into you, bro. Like you said, I watched your documentary when it came out, and I watched it again the other night just to get some pointer for the podcast. And one thing I like about you, bro, and I resonate with you a lot is, like, you know, people never believed in you. Do you get me? You said that a lot. And even me, when I started this, I started on Instagram, but I was just doing lives. And people used to laugh and, oh, look at him doing who do you think he is and all that, blah, blah. But you stuck through it. And one thing I liked about you, and it's definitely me, my missus is going to laugh when I say this, you're stubborn. Yeah, do you get me? And you said, this is your way and I'm going to do it. Do you get me? But growing up, bro, because I like going to the start to go figure out who the man is today. Talk to me about, because I love the inner city, man. I just think you are just a different breed of people. People think Tala people are mad, yeah? North side, inner city, Dublin, nah, bro, mad people. But talk about me, growing up as a young fella in the inner city, what's that like, bro?
Yeah, well, it was different when I was growing up than it is now, I think.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because even now, like, if you look at Smithfield, it's all nice and it's done up and there's money put into it. And Smithfield back in the day was like a cattle market.
Yeah, I walked through there last night to get to Lewis, actually. I did 12 pubs yesterday. I'm in bits. Oh, stop, bro.
A bit bollocks,
I'm in bits, bro. But I said, nah, let me get up. I didn't know it. I said, fuck that, I have an interview tomorrow. But yeah, I was walking through Smithfield. It's proper, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice now, do you know what I mean? But if you go back 20 years, it wasn't like that, do you know what I mean? It was very different back then. It used to be horse. Do you remember the horse fair?
Yeah,
no?
yeah.
The horse fair every first Sunday of every month, and there'd be people selling horses, there'd be cattle, it was a bit of a mad scene. That lad got shot that time in Smithfield, and that all just got shut down. I was there that day actually when your man got shot. It was mad. Do you know what I mean? Cow horses flying around everywhere, but it was very different back then. It wasn't like it is now. Do you know what I mean? It's very bleeding dialed up, and it's nice and it's better now, of course. Do you know what I mean? But when I was growing up, there was very little to do, really. If you were hanging around with your mates, playing football on the streets, or just getting into trouble, or fucking just bored, you know what I mean? It was boredom leads you to do stupid shit, you know what I mean, I think. And there's not a lot to do. And thankfully, when I found martial arts, I was 10 and I joined just martial arts gym was right beside me gaff. 2 minute, 3 minute walk around the corner, and I went signed up once a week, do you know what I mean, just doing a bit of kickboxing just to kind of learn how to fucking have a go, do you know what I mean? Learn how to kick, learn to I was into martial arts films and all, and I wanted to know how to, like, if someone was to start, imagine just getting into a stance and just like cleaning them off the blade and smoke, do you know what I mean? I remember thinking this when I was a kid, do you know what I mean? Like, I'd love to know how to actually throw a kick, throw a punch proper, because then you can't be fucked with, you know what I mean? Now you can, obviously, you fast forward years and you grow up. Street fights can be a mayhem, but back then I thought like this. I was like, I want to be switched on here. If I get into a fight, you know what I mean, I know how to bleed and actually fight. These cunts don't know how to fight. You swing all you want, but if I'm in a stance or whatever, it's different. So from that, I thankfully I found that, and that was me thing I did. No one did martial arts back then. I couldn't even tell me mates I was doing martial arts. They would have bent me around, because it was like, you know what I mean, it was like, you go do boxing, it was cool. Martial arts was like, you're bleeding weirdo. Doing martial arts, kung fu, you know what I mean? I swear to God, that's how mad I was back then. I was afraid to even tell people. Even going to secondary school, I couldn't tell people I was doing martial arts. I used to say boxing. Yeah, I do a bit of boxing and all this, you know what I mean? But then when they found out, they were like, martial arts, like kickboxing. And then obviously it's MMA. Everyone does fucking MMA. When I was down, I wasn't cool. It was like, you're a weirdo for doing martial arts.
I find out with Irish people, bro, when you try and do something different, or very like you said there. I love the humility of you. Even, and I'll take that from you as well, because I'm not gonna sit here on camera. One thing I like being honest, bro. Yeah, I would be that person that I won't throw my money into a cup into a homeless person, but I will and I walk boy, but I will do more what you said there. Acknowledge them as a human. Just do better like that. Do you get me?
Look them in the fucking eye.
And that's the humility in you, and as an Irish person, and a lot of you are like that. But to flip it, we're very negative as well, bro.
Can be, yeah.
Very negative.
Exactly. I choose not to be now. I really do, but it took a lot of years and a lot of ups and downs.
Growing up,
and a lot of studying other people and looking at them and going, I don't like how you were being with me, so I'm not going to do that to other people. You know what I'm saying? I'm the fucking most humble person you'd ever meet, and I'm positive, and if you tell me you're going to do whatever you're going to do, I'm not going to look at you and go, this fella, whatever you want to do, do it then. And you don't have to give a reason why you're going to do it. It's your thing. What we do as Irish people, what they like to do is when you say you're going to do something and it's a little bit outside the box.
Outside the box, yeah.
They kind of look at you like, what? And I had that from the very beginning with my family. They wanted me to just get a trade, get a job, stay in school, do this, just get your fucking money in. And I didn't want to be a painter. Or, my family wanted me to join the army. So I got fucked out of school when I was 15. So I was very lost, do you know what I mean? And I was like, what am I going to do? I was working at a pub at the time. And then when you're working at a pub, you're drinking, do you know what I mean? 15-year-old. I was drinking full time when I was 15. I was drinking full time since I was bleeding 12, to be honest. Like when I was 12, mate, listen, it was different back then. Yeah.
Do you know what, bro? You are typical. Bro, I remember. When I look back, I'm thinking, like, I have a daughter now. Yeah, she's 12 on Wednesday. Yeah. I was drinking at her age. Jesus. And she's my little girl. She's a little innocent kid. And I'm like,
I think of this all the time. Like, when I was 12, I was in the flats down in Naggins. That's what I was doing. Do you know what I mean? I was sipping on them Naggins in the blade. The Devil's Bit. We used to go down to the blade. Remember Devil's Bit?
My missus exes are heavy on that, bro. The brown bottle.
Shit being €5. Me and my mates hadn't even got a fiver. Go down and be all swig out a big 2 litre bottle of Devil's fucking Bit. Puke got ring up when I was 12. Do you know what I mean? So, like, it was very different back then. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, you make fucked up choices when you're
So, growing up like that, bro, so, because I remember listening to you and you were like being around the wrong crowd and, you know, getting away from that environment. So that's what you're talking about, drinking at 15 and stuff. So how did you, so with MMA, that's what got you kind of out of that discipline where you were like, you got away from that. Martial arts, martial arts, yeah.
At the start it was kickboxing. I was kickboxing full time. And I was competing in kickboxing a lot.
Yeah.
Fought in like the All-Irelands kickboxing, all these kind of local tournaments, like the best of the best, Irish Open, Irish Cup, all this kind of stuff. And then the World Championships came over in 2007. Fought there, got to the finals or the semi-finals, and I got ripped and I broke my heart. I put so much fucking work in. There was only 17 or whatever it was, and fought well. And your man, I thought I beat him, but they gave it to him decision, and I was like, fuck, I got ripped. Your man ended up winning it, and I asked him, like, did you think like you won it? And he actually said to me, I'm sorry, like, I got that decision. I'm really sorry. And I remember thinking, like, this is bollocks. Like, I won that fight, but they didn't give me it. You know what I mean? I didn't understand the politics of it. Why did I lose? And I remember I was watching MMA more at the time, and I looking at this, and I was like, it looks easier to finish an MMA fight than a kickboxing fight. More options. You can, you know, take them down, armbar them, you can choke them, you can knock them small gloves. I kept thinking, if I put them small gloves on, I don't give a fuck who you are, I'll do damage with them. Do you know what I mean? And nobody was really doing MMA really at the time. Do you know what I mean? Like, a few people were, obviously, but no one around where they even heard of it. Do you know what I mean? I was even talking about the UFC when I was a kid, and my mates would be like, what? Yeah. WWE, is it? And I was like, no, the UFC, you never see it? It's on Bravo, like it's fucking Chuck Liddell, and they'd be like, no, cage fight now, that's fake. They used to think that's not even real.
It was like wrestling,
do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's bleeding. But I used to watch it and I was like, I'd love to do this. Like, that looks like that's proper fighting. This isn't like a bleeding, like, clean cut fight. This is a real fight. It looks like a street fight almost. Do you know what I mean? Like, but they're technical. Do you know what I mean? You look at the old footage of like Hoist Gracie. You know, I grew up kind of on Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz, around that generation, that era. That's when I started watching it. Do you know what I mean? And I was like looking at Chuck when he was in his prime, just sparking cunts, and I was like, wow, this fella is lethal. Do you know what I mean? I didn't understand the wrestling around like that. I used to always think like nobody'd be able to grab a hold of me like that, like take me down. But when you start doing it, it's like the most humbling experience you'd ever feel, because it's like, we're so vulnerable, you know what I mean? As humans, like, if you don't know how to wrestle, or you don't know how to grapple, and someone does, and they grab a hold of you, I don't give a fuck what you think you can do. You're not going to be able to do any of it, you know what I mean? So when I started wrestling, I was like, oh, this is real. Fine. I don't care if you're Floyd Mayweather. If I grab a hold of you, if I get a hold of you, I don't care what you're going to try slick your way out of it. You're not getting out of this. I'm going to pick you up, I'm going to slam you on your head, and you're not going to do anything about it. So that's another form of fighting that I didn't know. Do you know what I mean? And when I started learning that, I got hooked. I was like, "Whoa, I have to get better at this." Because when you get flung around the place by good people, you start thinking, "Right, I gotta learn how to wrestle here." Otherwise, if someone did grab a hold of me, I'm fucked. You know what I mean? So kickboxing kind of went out the window in my head a little bit, because I was thinking it's pointless to kickbox if I do end up on the ground. So then I got into that, and then I just became obsessed with learning everything. I wanted to be good at everything, not just kickboxing. You know what I mean? I was pretty good at kickboxing, and then I boxed for a few years, pretty good at boxing, but I had to tick all the boxes then. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I just started wrestling and took it from there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And even me, just to touch on me for a second, we talked about Shem and the boys. They want me to, and I'd love to go in, like you said, learn how to proper defend yourself, you know? Because you do, you know yourself, like, I'm going to ask you a question now in a second, but you know, outside sometimes it can get a bit hectic, you know, and you want to kind of learn how to, you think you can fight, but like you said, when you take someone down, they're not getting off you, you know what I mean? Like, so what advice would you have for me as a beginner wanting to go into that world, and what would you say to me? How would I like introduce myself into
just start training? Just train. There's no special formula or special class that you can do, like a day course, and go, oh, I'm going to learn how to defend myself, do this 3-hour Krav Maga shit, you know what I mean, a course, and I know how to do it now. You have to constantly train. You have to build yourself up, understand it, you know what I mean, whether it's starting to hit pads for a while, then starting to grapple for a while, then maybe get introduced to sparring further down the line, but you have to know how to train first, and all the techniques have to be corrected at the start, you know what I mean, whether it's boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, grappling, or all of them together, and then just constantly train like 2, 3, 4 times a week, whatever you can get into and enjoy it. If you're not enjoying it, you're not going to keep it up. And the thing about MMA is very enjoyable, and if you're into the gym, you're into fitness, you're into training, you're going to fucking enjoy training. It's simple as that, you know what I mean? I couldn't imagine not training. Do you know what I mean? Like, when I'm not training, I feel like shit. Like, I hate not training. Even when I'm injured, I'm like, fucking I can't sit here, like, I have to do something, like. And I've been doing martial arts 22 years now. Sound like a bleeding Elvis saying that. When I say stuff like that, I'm like,
Oh, stop.
I'm 18 or something, but like, yeah, 22 years I'm doing this shit. So like my techniques and stuff that I've been doing over the years are kind of mastered in a sense, but I'm still always trying to get better. Do you know what I'm saying? So even when you get to a really high level, it's like, doesn't matter. There's someone out there that can still fuck me up.
Yeah.
And I get, every day in the gym, I'm rolling with people that fuck me up because they're better than me, and I go with them more because I want more. Do you know what I mean? I want to learn more and get better. And just train, man. Just join a gym. Start with jiu-jitsu. Start with hitting pads. Start to learn how to, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
get
hear
comfortable in these positions, and then it gives you an upper hand always.
Yeah.
Especially with grappling, especially with like wrestling and grappling. Like when grabbing a hold of someone's different. Like you have no idea until you do it. Like when you start doing it, you're like, "Jeez, this is serious business." Like.
I always, because I'm gonna get into your fight that kind of got you signed to Bellator in a second, but I always, when I'm watching like especially UFC, MMA, yeah. But you can say that for boxing as well. I heard Anthony Joshua say before, these aren't normal people.
No.
You can't be, especially being in camp, the discipline to, you know, stay on weight and eat this, eat that, because you're very disciplined people, yeah? You touched on your daughter there, and I when I was watching your documentary, you cracked me up, bro, because you goes, I'm starting my mornings off watching Coco Melon with the young fella, and then I'm going in on a killer mindset. So how do you kind of, you know, switch off when you're at home with the kids and all that? Because obviously you are constantly thinking about, like, you know, I remember you were talking about even when you're in the bathroom, you're shadowing, you're doing this and that. How do you kind of wind down when you're at home with the children? From having that because you said you're psychos. So how do you wind down when you're at home?
Like you're a psychopath with the work rate, but you're not a psychopath like 365. You know, you're switched on all the time. Well, I am anyway. I can't speak for everyone. I'm always switched on. I'm a martial artist. I walk around like a martial artist. I live like a fighter. Do you know what I mean? I try everything I do. Everything I do is to better myself to be a better fighter. Whether I go to the gym and lift weights, I'm not lifting weights to put on size for my physique to look better. I'm doing something this is going to help with my fast twitch muscle fibers to make my jab faster. This is going to help with my explosiveness in my hips to make my bridging better. This is, you know, I do, everything is tailored towards getting better as a fighter. Do you know what I mean? I don't just go to the gym and whack a lot of bleeding bicep curls out, and it's all about just the size, you know what I mean, or whatever. I'm always trying to just better myself as a fighter, you know what I mean? Whether I'm running, I'm constantly, I'm in a fight in my head, and the run is, this is the part I'm tired in the fight now, and I want to stop running, but I'm going to run for an extra 15 minutes because I'm not going to stop now because I'm bollocksed. And in a fight, I can tap into that, like, I've felt this multiple times when I'm bollocks on them runs, and I'm like, no, I'm going to push now. Because he thinks I'm going to slow down, but I'm going to, you know, so it's hard to explain in a way because it's almost like, it's not like any other sport. It's almost borderline not even a sport in a way. It's a sport in the gym until the referee says fight on fight night. And then it doesn't feel like a sport anymore. It feels like this is the realest thing that you've ever been in. And you get an elbow to the skull, and it's like, you've
What's
no
that
idea.
like, bro?
It's different level. It's like, oh shit. And, or even worse, when you're elbowing someone in the skull, you almost think, this is mental carry on. This is like, how am I allowed to do this? You know what I mean? But it's the skill set. It's techniques that you're putting on display, and both of us signed up for it. Both of us are professionals. You know what I mean? We signed a contract. It's an agreement. It's not like I'm just gonna go over and elbow your mate in the head here. That's, you know what I mean? Get a bleed charge. Always are planting on the elbows. You know what I mean? So, but when you are in them fights, it is kind of like, this is mad. And it's only when you're in the deep end in them fights you realise the only thing that matters here is the past. You have to put the fucking work in, because if you don't put that work in, you are going to be exposed in the worst possible way under them lights in front of a man who is trained and ready to kill you. Yeah. So if you haven't put the work in, so I know that now. So now everything is like, right, I have to make sure I'm prepared. I'll never go into a fight unprepared. So I'll never just take a fight on a week's notice if I'm like out of shape or I haven't been training. Yeah, I'll jump on it for a few grand or something. Me bollocks, no chance, because my life is on the line here. My brain cells are on the line. Do you know, I don't fucking give a fuck how good you think you are. If you haven't been preparing for a fight, not in shape, I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? It's big time, but yeah, it's a mad sport. It is a mad sport. And we are very different people. Honestly, any fighter, anyone that's ever sat in that back room on fight day and got their hands wrapped and had to deal with that and made the walk, stepped in there and fought. Don't give a fuck, win, lose, draw. If you've lost 10 in a row, don't give a fuck, man. Respect, because it's like, it takes balls. And for the females, it takes something else. I don't know what you'd say for the females. It takes something. It takes bleeding mad courage. You have no idea. Do you know what I mean? So, big respect to anyone that does it. But yeah, I'm blessed to do it. I'm blessed that I'm able to do it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be alive forever. So, that's the buzz I'm always on.
100%. You know, I'm happy for you, man, because like I said, you're a determined guy who wants to go to the big stage. And I'm happy to be kind of, this is kind of me being part of your journey as well. And you talking about this. I don't know, question I want to ask you. Quickly, because I have these discussions with my friends. See, you guys, MMA guys, yeah, professionals, obviously. Are your hands classed as weapons? Well, so say for instance someone piss you
by who, like, you know what I mean?
No, that's what I want to ask, because obviously you'll know. But it's like, we always say this, it's like, someone pissed me off today on the Lewis, bro. Yeah, he came in, barged me, fucking missus. I was with me children out doing the Christmas shopping. And I was going mad at him. I was like, you fucking clown, what you doing? I don't go mad at him. Like, but it's like someone pisses you off now, right? Yeah. Well, how do you control yourself? Because like if you spark someone now, being who you are, number one, get a lot of money off you, and then number two, it's like, you know, jail. Do you get me? So what's are our hands classed as weapons or no?
Yeah, well, obviously, yeah. But like, I have a friend who's in jail now. I was only talking to him on the phone last night, funny enough, and I won't mention his name.
No, of course not.
You know what I mean? And he actually killed somebody, hit somebody, and unfortunately, a man died, and it was a silly altercation, absolute mistake, gentleman. And he told me never, ever hit anybody. And I was like, yeah. But he looked at me and he said, listen to me. And the way he said it to me, I was like goosebumps almost. And he's like, never, promise me. And I was like, I won't. And I was almost like, I've never been told that before. You know what I mean? When he said it to me, I hit home, and I was like, fuck, like, yeah, you're right, like, because it could, like, you could kill someone.
Yeah, because you have the techniques that spark someone proper.
Every day myself, like, of course, there's frustration and there's people out there and there's fucking dickheads, and you just want to give everyone a clap there every now and then, but like, it takes a lot to piss me off, do you know what I mean? I'm very calm and I don't really give a fuck, do you know what I mean? It would literally have to be a self-defense situation for me to hit you, do you know what I mean? I'm never going to ever rise to anyone. You can't rise to me, because I think, and this is me at 32 years of age. You talk to me when I'm 22 years of age, this is a different conversation. I'll be knocking everyone out. I'm like, fuck everybody's getting You even look at me sideways, I'm going to give you a clap there. I'm stupid. I'm stupid. You know what I mean? But I've learned from that, and thank God I learned from it. Took a while, but like, thank God. Now I'm like, kids, they come first, I always think, oh, what's it worth to me hitting you? What am I going to get out of this? I'm going to get a charge. I'm going to get a court case for the next 2 to 3 years. I'm going to stress my kids and my family out. I'm going to probably go to jail and be all over the papers and be a scumbag. Everyone's going to make me out of it. What am I going to get out of this? I'm certainly not going to be satisfied by hitting you. It's not going to satisfy me now. I get paid to hit people. I get literally checks to go in there and have fights off people, you know what I mean? I hit you on a Lewis or whatever, and I give you a clatter and I hurt you. What did I get out of that? Maybe a second of going, right, lovely, I give him a dig and I walk. The consequences are outweigh the reality of me hitting you, do you know what I mean? So if I was to hit somebody, it's definitely 100% going to be a self-defense situation. I had to, do you know what I mean? Like, I had no choice. You hit me first. You literally attacked me or my family or something, do you know what I mean? That's a guarantee. You know what I mean? It happens all the time. You see in Club 22, that's a good example. Every time I'm in a nightclub, it's always the nightclub's cunts call you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I get hellos and I get like, oh, Keith, what's up? And I'm like, how are you? And, you know, hello. And everyone sounds, when you're in a nightclub, it's different. Everyone's just gargling. They're just like,
that's when they get brave.
And it's like, they might say something and you're just like, this is frustrating. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, they're drunk and they don't mean to say it that way, but maybe they do and they're a bit braver and like, oh, I might say this now, but you'd never say that sober, you know. And I know that now. It's like you'd never approach me on a Monday in bleeding Blanche shopping centre in Starbucks and say this to me. I know you wouldn't, you know what I mean? But here you are bleeding in your face, and it's like I could literally bleed and dismantle you. You know what I mean? We both know that, but this is still happening. But you have to just go, whatever, numb. I'm numb to it. I just like, I entertain it, sound, and I just get on with it. There's no need to go physical with anyone. There's just no need. And as I said, like, I think training every day really helps with that as well. Do you know what I mean? I don't think people are humbled enough. I genuinely believe the people that are out there in the streets, and I was one of them when I was a young, stupid cunt, people out there fighting in nightclubs and on the streets and all these cunts aren't humbled enough. They're not in the gym every day. And I mean a martial arts, and they're probably lifting weights every day and jabbing, bleeding testosterone into their body, as everyone is now. You see everyone's going around bleeding huge. It's mental to see. Everyone's a bleeding giant now. But I think if you're grappling every day and you're getting choked every day and you're sparring, you're getting like beaten every day, and it's humbling. You get that release of anger, and you're taking people down. I know how to restrain someone. I don't have to go out and prove myself to some brand number. Do you know what I mean? I don't give a fuck. Even if you are getting fresh with me, get fresh, go ahead. I'm not going to rise to it. If you want to get physical now, it's different. If you're going to step and you're going to start throwing digs at me, then you're going to get milked. But if you're going to say something, it's like, see you later.
I'm glad. You know what? I love what you said there, bro. You said about people don't get humbled enough, and he'll know what I'm talking about. In my community, bro, can't just go out, have a night out, and, you know, someone else has to, you know, they carry their beefs from outside into the clubs, like you just said there. I talked about this with the girls, Basics Back, shout out them. When I was out in the club a couple of weeks on, and you know me, I just say what I don't give. I'm like, I don't give a fuck, bro. I just say it's things that are there to be called out. I call it out, bro. Yeah. Some guy approaches me now, and he starts, and like you said, you like these days. I said this on an episode. Yeah, see on your phone, like I don't have your number. I can call you on Instagram.
Yeah, I know. I get it all the time.
Do you get me? Yeah. That's how it is, but bro, do you get me? Back in the day, you were old enough to remember MSN and all, yeah? When you're trying to get a board's number or whatever, you'll text them and blah, blah. You don't have to do that anymore. If you have them on Snapchat, you can ring them. Yeah. So I was thinking, you could have just rang me instead of starting on me in a nightclub, do you get me? And I want to talk to you about, because I seen your post, a couple of weeks ago, you're gas. Your man now, Love Island, what do you want to fight him for? Jack.
So it's not that I want to fight him.
Yeah.
They approached me last summer, and I forget the name of the show. Some show in Dubai.
Yeah.
And they said, "Would you be interested in a celebrity boxing match?"
Okay.
And I goes, "Yeah." I go, "Of course." I have the messages on. If I was going to put these messages out, and I was like, "I don't want to be that cunt." You know what I mean? Screenshot. I'm going to show whatever. I have them all out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if he
receipts,
really wants to, we can go there. We can go there. Yeah. So I wrote back to your man, and he's a promoter. Gone to my manager. I goes, "He legit?" He said, "Yeah." He goes, "I goes, who's the celebrity?" He goes, "This Jack Fincham lad. He's a decent boxer." I wrote back, "Who the fuck's he?" I never watched Love Island in my life. I don't know who he is. Never heard of him. I goes, "Celebrity." Clicked on his page, few million followers, and I was like, "Yeah, sound. I'll do it. Yeah, what's the money like?" So it became into an issue about the money. And I was like, "Look, this and that, and blah blah blah. Would you be into it?" And I goes, "What's the rules like boxing? Like what type, like 4 3-minute rounds, 3 what?" "Well, it's a professional exhibition." Blah. And I was like, "That doesn't even make sense." So I goes, "Look, I'll do a proper 4 3-minute round boxing match, no head guards, proper 10-ounce gloves, real fight. You know what I mean? Not like a Mickey Mouse show. Like it has to be a fucking. I'm not gonna put head guard on. You know what I mean?" And he goes, no head guards, proper." So that was happening. He had a change of heart, your man, Jack Fincham. He said yeah, apparently, and then I said yeah, and then when I said yeah, he said no. So I reached out to my manager, goes, "Is this happening or not?" He says, "Nah, he doesn't want to fight you now because you're a game ball for it." So I was texting your man and all, do you know what I mean? Saying like, "Yeah, you're getting milked basically, do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're signing up for something you shouldn't be signing up for, mate. But yeah, I see it, whatever." You didn't text me back. Anyways, the whole thing got pulled. And then he went on and fought your man, now this fucking EJ, Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor. I'm sure you've seen his cunt everywhere, right? You know that cunt who I had beef with in the past, a little arsehole. He's over here fought me mate James. James strangled him. And ended up fighting him. And there was a shy fight. The two of them did fuck all. I went to a draw. And then another fight came up. Dylan's now fighting in January. So I was talking to my manager and he said, "Would you be interested in fighting on that?" I was like, "Yeah, get your man back on board. Your man Fincham or whatever." Approached him. No, not interested. I was like, this fella's talking about he wants to be a boxer. He wants to do the crisscross thing. He actually said it on one of his jokes, "I want to fight MMA fighters." So I was like, "Great, let's go. I'm willing to fucking step in and fight you." And so it's like, the fight game is full of fake people. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I don't necessarily want to do the crisscross thing just yet.
What's your opinion on that?
I think it's good. I think anything that you're making money with is good, yeah. And
do you think, because I watched Anderson Silva, bro, against Jake Paul. Do you think it's fixed?
No, definitely not.
It's not?
No, I don't think it's fixed. I think people are mad saying it's fixed. I mean, at the end of the day, like you have a 47-year-old retired MMA fighter that's decent at boxing. He's not a boxer. He was very good elite level striker. Right. And people are confusing the two. He was amazing at kicking, punching, elbows, knees, clinching, and mixing it in MMA with small gloves. When you put boxing boots on, 10 or 12-ounce gloves in ropes in a square, it's very different. It's not the same sport. And people think, "Oh, Anderson Silva, one of the greatest strikers of all time," and they're right. He wasn't one of the best boxers of all time. There's a big difference. Then you have a young 24-year-old full of probably everything, motivated, hits very hard, 100 kilos, and he goes to a decision and wins. And yeah, he dropped him, legit dropped him, hurt him. It's impressive, but it's like, is it that impressive? You know what I mean? You're 24 and you're at the being a 47-year-old, and he's one of the greatest of all time. 20 years ago, would it have happened like that? I don't think so, to be honest. No, I don't know. You know, and I think Jake Paul's doing a great job. He's a brilliant self-promoter. He knows how to blow up. He knows how to pull the views and the numbers. He knows what he's doing. I think boxing is a very interesting combat sport that celebrities can jump into without big consequences depending on who they fight. You know what I mean? So if Jake Paul, clearly he's picking who he's fighting next, right? Because everyone's calling him out, but he literally gets to go, "I'll have this one." You know what I mean? "I'll fight Tyron Woodley again." He's picking. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, no one's picking for him.
Would you have a knockoff?
Of course, I'd have a knockoff anyone if the money's right. I said this before to somebody, and this is the truth. I'd fight anyone on the planet if the money's right. There's no one that'd say no, but the price has to be right. If you said to me, "Do you want to fight Tyson Fury in a bare knuckle boxing match?" I'd say, "Yeah, let's talk money now." And then you're going to have to come back and go, "Well, is it worth this?" If you're going to say to me, "We'll give you 1 million," I'm going to say, "Nah, I know how much Tyson Fury gets for his fights. Let's talk." You know what I mean? And then there has to be a big number where I'm like, "Of course I jump in. I fight anyone for it. I'm a prize fighter." That's what we do. With him, it's the same thing. He is fighting these people, but he's very choosy who he's fighting. And he's doing a great job at doing it, in fairness. He's a shit talker. He's building himself up. But I think it's taken off, and like it's like a new sport now. The crisscross thing. Do you know what I mean? MMA fighter versus fucking whoever. Do you know, that's People are curious, and not every MMA fighter is a good boxer. You have to remember that. MMA is a different sport as well. It's like rugby and football. I know there's a ball involved in both of them, but it's a different sport. Can't take a rugby player and he's going to beat Ronaldo. And you couldn't take Ronaldo and put him in a rugby. It doesn't work like that. People think it does. You know what I mean?
I'll be one of them. I was thinking, what?
How fight sport's the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. So not everyone's a great. Ben Askren, good example. 18-0 MMA. He's a wrestler. You know what I mean? He's a super wrestler. Unbelievable wrestler. NCAA Division 1 wrestler. Like high level wrestler. Not a boxer though, not a striker by any means, or grappler. Do you know what I mean? And of course, it's perfect to line him up. Do you know what I mean? It's a smart Tyron Woodley, same thing. Short, stocky wrestler who had decent power in his shots, but with 4-ounce gloves on. And if you watch any of his MMA fights, he never really boxed. He'd explode in with 1 or 2 punches and grab and wrestle, and it was a mix of everything. He wasn't a wrestler. He wasn't a boxer. You know what I mean? So it's a very different type of sport. I can actually box. So I've come from a striking background. I'm a kickboxer, boxer, and then I had to learn how to grapple. I was the opposite. You know what I mean? So like I can actually mix it up. And if I done like an 8 to 10 week training stint of just boxing, handy, no problem. Fighting a little tick like him, like I could do that tonight. I could fight him tonight and have a play. And it's not a problem. You know what I mean? So of course,
I love fighting a little tick. I love that, bro. Let's go back into your career. I wanted to say like you know with the charity boxing. I asked Fabio D out for a knock.
Who's this?
Fabio D, the Black Paddy. Did you ever hear of him?
Oh yeah.
Fucking clown, right? Oh yeah, it's because obviously he likes making he like not beef. He just likes making a laugh at our community and stuff. I had him on. You should watch the episode. I had him on, and we had a bit of back and forth and whatever. And I said, you know what?
He's funny. Like
he is. Yeah, some of his stuff like to people. To me, he'll never be funny to me. But like it's just the stereotypical jokes making a laugh of. My brother Nathan said it. Something perfect. It's like say if you had a version of him, an Irish version, and he's constantly slagging the struggles of like the famine and stuff like that. You wouldn't find it funny. So that's what basically he does. Stereotypical jokes again. I just don't find it funny. So I just go to him, look, I can scream and shout at you all you want. Let's have like a charity boxing match. He bottled it. Look what Ben Williams is doing. You know, he's having a bit of beef with people, getting in the ring, sorting out there, and you shake hands. You have respect for that. Getting into the ring, you respect someone for that. Do you know what I mean? So I feel, and you're dead right. Some people do need humbling, and I feel like charity boxing games and exhibition mates, you should be doing it. You know. Back onto you, bro. One thing that touched me as well when on your doc, you were talking about you know, you used to be doing the amateur fights, but you're still on the dole. You were kind of embarrassed by it and stuff like that. But then you go to Bellator, sign that deal, and then you're able to change your family's life, which I do what I'm doing, entertainment, not just podcasting. I want to become an entertainer, TV, whatever that can bring me good bread, change my family's life. And I love that because at the end of the day, like that's what we do. Do you know what I mean? Like, so what was that like, bro? When like, you know, you beat your man, was a plant, You beat him, goes viral, and Bellator come to you, and you seeing the numbers. What was that feeling like for you?
Yeah, it was cool.
From coming where you came from, being on the scratcher.
No, 100%. And that was, you said amateur, that was my professional career. I was still on the dole, do you know what I mean? Like,
oh shit, professional on the dole.
That's what I'm saying. So I was 4 now as a professional, still on the dole, €144 a week. Daughter, it was very hard, and it was like that fight. Literally, like I'll never forget it. Like that, it was a mad fight. I was injured going into that fight, which is why it was a war. I had an AC joint detachment, and I had my shoulder as well. I forget this joint up here, but that was also damaged. I couldn't lift my left arm going into that fight, so I literally just bit down and had a fight. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, and I was in a mad mood that day. I was like, I'm just in.
Yeah, you were exploding. I watched it back.
It was a big deal. Training. I was like, this is me shot now. I'm gonna blow up. My goal then was to get to the UFC. Still is. So I thought, right, I'm just gonna go at this cunt. Do you know what I mean? English fella versus Irish fella. This is gonna be a big deal. And everyone was talking about it, and everyone was buzzing. Sold hundreds of tickets. I was like, this is a big one, yeah. And after that fight, as mad as it went viral. It went bigger than any of my fights ever gone. I went fucking big everywhere. And the next morning I woke up, I was in a heap. I'll have to send you pictures, mad. I was in a
you got a bad cut, didn't you? Yeah, bad cut,
Bits, broken thumb. I was in a bad way. Woke up the next morning, phone hopping. Woke up Monday morning, had to go down to the post office, collect my doll. And I was just like, and I literally had my eye was out to here at stitches. I literally put sunglasses on, put me hood up. I'm in the doll queue, and there's like, say, 6-8 people in front of me, and people are literally, oh, Kiefer, well done the fight. And I'm like, oh, nice one. And I'm just like, this is mad. Like, everyone's seen me fight. It was on the telly. I'm blown up. You know what I mean? And I'm like, here I am standing in the post. I walk up to the top of the queue, and I know the girl behind the desk from the flats. And she's like, oh, Kiefer, well done. And I was like, oh, thanks so much. And oh, brilliant. Oh, it was unreal. I was showing everyone. I was like, oh, yeah, brilliant. And I was just like, and here she is.
Like 140 quid.
Thanks so much. And I was just like, I can't do this. Like, I actually can't believe do this. Like, this is killing me. Do you know what I mean? It was killing me. Do you know? And I was like, that day when I left that post office, I went home. I was like, I actually can't do this anymore. This is mental carry on. Like, there's no point in going viral. There's no point on being, people know who you are. There's no point when you're broke, when you're just like making nothing. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and the damage I got done, I remember thinking like, fucking hell, I didn't even get reward. I think I got like €1,500 for that fight, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 1,000 to make weight and then 500 extra or something like that if you win. And that was good money. That's what they tell you. That's great money. That's fucking good money. Like, it's not good money. You see the state I was in a jock. I was concussed the bits going around. Do you know what I mean? I was in a bleeding bad way. So after that, anyways, like a couple of months later, John called me into the office and says, listen, Bellator are interested in signing you. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, and it's really good money. And I was like, yeah. So we got on, he put the contract down, and I was like, what? Yeah. I was like, and he's like, Andy, I want you to fight in December. And I was like, you serious? Yeah. And this is September now, like August after that fight. And I was like, I have to think about this. And he's like, well, look, there's nothing to think about. This is a serious deal. And I was like, wow, okay. But my goal was still the UFC. I was like, but if I sign this, 4 fights, you know. But then I was thinking, well, I'm only 4 now. Can't get to the UFC until you're at least 10 now. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, right, well, if I just have these fights, you make some money, save it, and then continue the journey and then get to the UFC eventually. But after that, like, when I signed that contract, it was life-changing. It was, like, literally, like... And when I say life-changing, you have to remember, whether you're making fucking $5,000, $10,000. 10 grand is life-changing to someone on the dole. Do you know what I mean? You know, it is, like, it's... I don't give a fuck anyway. I know you never see, like... It was mad, like... And then going to that big stage, like, me friend James Gallagher, he was already signed to Bellator, and he was making good money. He was travelling around. I cornered him for a few of them. Seeing the production of it was a big fucking show, you know what I mean? He had a fight in London in... the O2, his foursomes, 20,000 people there. And I remember thinking, like, this is nuts. I found the 3 around, there's 10,000 people there. This is double that. It's fucking huge. And I remember thinking, this is nuts. This is a big show, like. This is not a small time show, like. So when I signed with them, racked up a good few fights and winning them all, do you know what I mean? And I got DQ at that time and then won. And like, I was doing pretty well, do you know what I mean, in Bellator. And then when they came to me with the second contract, it was like, holy shit, like, yeah. But me goal again was still like,
UFC,
you know what I mean? Yeah. But it was like, but the next contract was like, if you don't sign this, you're a fucking idiot, do you know what I mean? This is literally life changing. Like, and I was like, oh shit, like, right. So then I went to the money, like, more. But you have to be real with yourself as well, because the way I look at it is like, what do you go for, the money or the dream? And you say, right, well, the dream. Well, what is the dream? Well, the dream is to get to the UFC. Why is it get to the UFC? To change my family's life and make money. Cool. Well, it's here. And you're like, alright, so I'm just chasing the label. So if I just go to this, I can change my family's life and be financially free. But if I go here or chase this one, I'm going to be broke for a good while longer. And you can't feed your family on a fucking dream. Can't pay the bills in a dream. And thankfully, I did sign Bellator because 2020 happened then. On that second contract, I signed that, had one fight, February 19th, I think it was, or whatever it was. And then literally 2-3 weeks later, boom, lockdown. We're all like, and thank God I had that banked, because I was like, that got us straight. I was working, the fucking world shut down, had no money coming in, no fights coming up, you know what I mean? I was done. So thankfully I banked a good few quid, and then I was like, right, that got me through it. Like, I was living well for a while on that bleeding thing. If I didn't, and I was on these little small shows making $1,000 here and there, never would have got through that fucking lockdown, do you know what I mean? It would have been smashed like the rest of the world was. So, but yeah, but the goal now, I'm out of that contract, I'm free, I'm a free agent, I'm trying not to sign anyone, and now I'm still trying to get to the UFC, do you know what I mean? That's still the goal, it's still always been the goal. It's that itch that I just have to scratch, you know what I mean? I have to get it, like, I can't, I've been offered fucking contracts with loads of people, like loads of them. Obviously I'm a big name and people want to sign me, and it could be exciting for any organisation as a new Irish bloke, do you know what I mean, coming in, but my goal is to fucking get to that UFC, and that's it, and I want to march into that octagon in the UFC. It's the #1 organisation in the world, do you know what I mean? And I wouldn't be able to be retired and be happy knowing that I didn't put everything into trying to get there, do you know what I mean, and settling for something else. So that's where I'm at right now. It's just to fucking keep the head down, keep grinding it out, and hopefully get that call. I'm in good hands as well. I have a good management team, I've good team, I've good everything. Everything's, all the stars are lined up. It's just now I just have to win the next one, you know what I mean, and then that takes care of the fucking future, you know what I mean. So
there was a question that I asked a couple of my guests, and I actually got it from your Instagram, and you touched on it there. You were like, the dream or the money, and you put, it was a post, it was like money or legacy. So to you, it is money, innit? More, because I'd be like, I'm always on this thing of, yeah, I want to be remembered for I was a good person, I motivate people, blah blah. But then it's like, okay, I remember Floyd Mayweather saying it's like, because your family with legacy. Bro, my children can't eat legacy. Do you get me? Because they're saying he's tarnishing his legacy by fighting all these YouTubers and all that. He's like, fuck legacy, man. Like, do you get me? Do you get me? So, but what you? And when I watched again, like, and I could hear, like, you had an interview. I could, like, you were talking about, you know, is the money? Were you happy though? Like, you know. Do you get me?
See, this is the thing, right? So it's like, that's the thing. Yeah, the satisfaction isn't the same.
because UFC is what you want.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
You have no idea. It's almost like marrying the wrong woman. And like, oh, just do it.
Listen, listen, we'll get into that later.
No, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's that thing. I can't even explain it. I don't know what it is. And to be honest, I don't even have an answer. See, when you look at money, I chop and change all the time. You know what I mean? And I remember being broke, and then I look at homeless people, and I look at, there's so many situations that I'm so grateful for that I actually can earn a living from doing what I love to do. Like, there's something about that that's very like humbling. I'm very proud of yourself to do. Like, I'm literally waking up every day, going to the gym, doing martial arts, and every few months I have a fight, and that takes care of me and my family, and it's grand. You know what I mean? It's like something about that. It's bleeding. It's very humbling, but at the same time, the dream is the UFC. The goal has been, and it will be. And when I'm retired and say I open gyms or I'm doing whatever I'm doing, I want to be 50, 60, 70 years of age, looking back on, I was in the UFC, I did do that, I had them great fights in that UFC, representing Ireland, you know, follow like what Conor done, like he literally changed the game, do you know what I mean? And that motivated the world, and still to this day I look at that as motivation, that he's done that, and it's like, no one's ever done anything like that before, and he's from around the corner. That's mad, do you know what I mean? And people don't give him that credit like that he deserves from being, and even people don't understand, he's from Crumlin, do you know what I mean? You talk about a young fella from Crumlin changing the world in combat sports. You know, people look at him like the Irish guy. I look at him as a young fella from Crumlin, one of us that's just literally grafted it out and got there, and not only got there, fucking went to the top, soared and changed the game. You know what I mean? And that's crazy. And to be a teammate as well, it's just nuts. You know what I mean? So I still find that very motivational, and I still try to do my own thing and try to go, right, I want to follow in his footsteps and try to get to that UFC and have my own impact, you know what I mean? And do my own, and from Dublin, not bounce to another gym or country, stay here, be humble. I'm the North Inner City young fella that done it. And then all the other young fellas in the North Inner City might go, fucking hell, I can do something like this. Because I know I found motivation in what he done, so I know people will find motivation in from what I done, you know what I mean? So that's and I get it all the time. Every time I go around, I see young fellas, people text me all the time, thanks mate, I've done this, I'm in the gym now, I joined martial arts, and I'm like, that's quality. That's really what it's all about for me, do you know what I mean? Like,
you touched on Conor, and one thing I didn't want to do was bring him up because we're talking about Kiefer Crosbie. That's who I want to talk about. And one thing, I don't know if the boys did this on purpose, but I watched Talking Ballers when John was on, and they didn't mention Conor once. It was all about John, and I loved that because at the end of the day, you don't want to be like. But one thing that I we touched on earlier about Irish people being a bit negative, and you spoke about there, so I'll touch on it. Yeah. Do you think the Irish public are a bit unfair on him, how their perception of him is? Because like you said, like you talk about the North Inner City, I always talk about Brooker, where I'm from, where I want to motivate kids from my area. And I get a bit of stick for that from my peers that do this. Because they don't, I hear that. Don't people, I said this the other day, men aren't men anymore. Men are like women, bro. Like, do that, you know what I mean? Bro, do that, bro. There's even, yesterday, I was talking to one of my friends there, and she hit me up, and she was like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, there's a guy that you smile on my face, but behind my back, you're talking shit. Do you get me? So I get stick for like, what in the hell my area? But you see, point like your pussies, bro, right? But like you just said there, you're doing things that motivate kids from your area. But back to the question, it's like, I used to work in the bookies, bro. And no one is fighting or whatever. And it's like, people give him stick, he's this, he's that, he's that. And like you just said there, young fella from Crumlin, bro, he's motivating you. He went to the moon, bro. You know what I mean? Like, why would you hate on that? Yeah. It's mental.
Me, like all my teammates, all of us.
Yeah, all he is. The whole lot he is, man. Yeah, the whole world, bro. Exactly.
It's first hand, and it was like, it is very motivational, and it's a crazy story, and it's brilliant. And I do think Irish people love to support you when you're up and kick you when you're down. I just think it's a thing. I don't know what it is in their culture that we love to do that, and it's been like that since day one. Like, and it's, I don't know where I don't want to say Irish people because that's not fair either.
No, it's not fair because not everybody.
It just feels like that when you're running around. But I genuinely think even what you said there, like men aren't men anymore, the snowflakes and this and that. Like, it's like, my theory on all that is that if you have nothing going on in life, that's what you're going to do. So if I've never gone around talking about anyone else unless it's in a positive way, because I've nothing to gain from going here bitching about some. I actually can't even imagine doing it because it's like, what am I doing here wasting my own? I don't have time to bitch about someone or focus on what you're doing with your life. You know what I mean? I don't care. If you want to come and it's positive and I'm happy for you, I mean, mate, yeah, that's unreal. I'm motivated from it. I don't want to talking shit about someone else. That's crazy to me, you know what I mean? How anyone could do that, like. And with Conor, like, when he was down, I was literally watching him getting into that UFC, knocking Brim and I'll never forget all them fights, and being where I was and watching them and going to them and just being like, this is nuts, like. He's just one of the boys in the gym all the time, just training, and I know how good he is, and people just don't know yet. He's in there just, and this is going back even before the UFC, back to the Cage Warriors days. I used to go to the Cage Warriors events and watch him just laying cunts to rest, like, he's a fucking, that left hand is just a joke, do you know what I mean? He just stiffens people out. He's easily the best single striker in MMA, like single punch striker I've ever seen, like where he just hits people and they just go to sleep. It's mental. And I've had loads of fights, 20 plus MMA fights, 25. It's very hard to hit someone one punch and just sleep them. You know, I do damage to people, I hit them, I hurt them, and you know, it's a fight, it's a battle. But man, there's something in that, like just one touch, bam, and then they just go to sleep. It's mental, and people don't even realise how hard that is to do. Amount of fights I've watched and studied over the years, and there is a good few that can do it, but I've never seen anything like he can do it. You know what I mean? Like watch the Aldo fight, like fucking hell, like Jesus Christ. Watch the Marcus Brimage fight. The way when he hits him, you see his eyes change. He's like, oh shit, what was I hit with? It's like he doesn't realise he was after being hit by something. Do you know what I mean? And you watch any of his fights really, like, you know what I mean? Ivan Buchinger, watch that fight. It's this last fight in Cage Warriors. I was there cage side watching it. Slip left hook, and I was just like, slip him. And I was like, well, I've never seen anything like that live before. Mad to witness, you know what I mean? It's impressive. And that's what, to me, that's what fighting is. That's what skill is. Like staying calm in that moment, seeing everything coming. He throws a shot, you slip it and you counter, and it's just like, wow, like you don't even realise how high level that is. Like, them little things for me is everything with fighting. Like, because we can all close our fist, bite down and swing. That's not that hard to do, to be honest. You can get fit and do it. But staying calm, measuring distance, slipping your head just a few millimetres to the side, and then think one shot to the perfect spot, and then the man goes to sleep. And not a man who's a killer as well. Like a Jose Aldo. Like a fucking I grew up watching, studying Jose Aldo. Like,
10 years unbeaten.
Bro, listen, I studied him. Yeah, I was infatuated with him. In WEC, used to fight in these. Like I learned how to leg kick just by watching his fights. When he fought Uriah Faber in the WEC back in the day, like just booting the leg on him. I remember thinking, oh shit, leg kicks, man. Leg kicks are different, great. Because I was doing kickboxing above the waist, and I remember thinking, like, Jay's leg kicks, like you can boot the leg off someone, like that's a mad kick. Like, and I remember watching that fight, going to the gym on the Monday, just kicking the bag lower, thinking. So I've been watching him since then, and I remember thinking, Connor's gonna fight him. So, and when he fought him and done that, I was there. I was in Vegas, cage side, watching the fucking thing, and I remember just literally being in awe. Like that was 7 years ago, actually. The other day, came up on my Instagram. 7 years ago in Vegas, sitting there at my board, and we were literally like, I've never been jaw. Do you know when people in the videos are like a jaw? I was literally, my jaw was open, and I couldn't believe that just happened that quick. Because right before that, sitting beside a few people, what you saying? I got first round knockout. I actually had a bet on it. I got first round knockout, 100% first round knockout. I kept saying it, but like fucking 10 seconds, 12 seconds in, think just mate. Do you know what I mean? Just if that doesn't motivate a fighter, I just don't know what will.
Yeah, bro.
I'm winning the belt. Like,
and God willing, bro, that's gonna be you very soon, bro. Yeah.
So.
I want to talk a couple of more questions, and we'll bounce, bro. Yeah. I want to talk to you about a guy that I knew, teammate you was now, Lee Hammond, bro.
Yeah.
What's his future like? Because I remember him. He didn't remember me. I was talking to him that night. I don't remember him playing football. I know it was that Paul. He was there, which is that night. He was all there. I was like, I was at the booth there. I was like, no one want to mess with him over there. He's be dead. But I was speaking to him that night. But I remember him playing football, and now he's obviously doing MMA now. What's his future like? Because I hear like he's one of the next ones kind of coming up now.
I can see him being a UFC champion.
Yeah,
definitely. And
that good.
Like it's one thing I don't do is I don't talk shit and I don't lie. And there's very few people that I say this about. Do you know what I mean? I've said about James Gallagher back in the day, like when he was 15, when I first met him when I was a kid, and I rolled him. I remember saying it to him that night, you're going to be a world champion, man. You're a joke. Like, never felt that like this little kid going around fucking adults up. Lee was the same back then as well when he was young. He was just fucking people up, and he's very different to James. He has a different style, especially with jiu-jitsu. He's known as the jiu-jitsu guy, but now his full MMA plan has like just fucking got a lot stronger. His striking is unbelievable. His takedown defense, his takedowns are unbelievable. His jiu-jitsu is on a different level altogether. And now his fight IQ, he's already a world champion. He's won the world champions in the IMAFs and had like 20 plus amateur fights, which is a lot of experience. And now he's 5-0 as a professional. And with 4 finishes. The lad he didn't finish was a bloke who was like 8-0, who was a killer from Georgia or something like that. Like a killer, and no one wanted to fight this lad. And since your man's he's won that tournament that they were in or something like that, he's been in a tournament. Your man's a killer, like, and he couldn't even believe how good Lee was when he was like just flinging him around. You know what I mean? But it's one of those things that like we know how good he is, but the world doesn't yet. You know what I mean? And I think that when he does get a shot, which he should soon, in my opinion, 5-0 young prospect Irish bloke, I think he should be in the UFC now. If I'm honest, what's the point on fighting on all these small shows? Get him onto the big stage, give him a shot. You know what I mean? And watch, because I know he has what it takes, and I wouldn't say that about anyone. I really wouldn't. You know what I mean? I think he definitely will just excel once he gets his shot. I think once he gets shot and he's on the bigger stage and there's more eyes on him, and he has a big fight like his last fight. Have you seen his last fight?
I didn't see it, but I know he won. Yeah, he won,
he smoked. He's just a dominant fighter. Do you know what I mean? And he's. I think that if he gets a hold of anyone in these positions, he can fuck them up. I've seen it, like I've trained him. He's one of my main training partners, train him every day. But like I've seen him even going with like high level people. Like I've been in his corner, and I just see it in their demeanor. The opponents just like, what's going on here? You know what I mean? It's mad. He can just fucking have his way with them almost. And now his fight IQ is a lot better. He's a lot more experienced. He's getting more calm before fights. He knows how to switch on at the right times. He knows how to be efficient in there. Do you know what I mean? Doing the right things. And these things are things you can't teach someone. These things that you have to develop on the go. Do you know what I mean? So I think you're going to see a big progression in the next 12 months, hopefully UFC soon. And then once he's in there, I can see him just getting in there and smoking the likes of Paddy Pimblett, smoke all these. I'd put my life on it that he would beat Paddy Pimblett in a fight, or any of these people that you see on the telly. I mean, just remember, because on the telly you think you give them more credit because you see them, they're right there in front of you. But all I see is skills. All I see is like, how good are you though? How good is your skills? Are you defending that underhook well? What's your hips like? What's your sprawl like? How good is your head move? I see skills, and I just see his skills being better than a load of these elite lads, if not all of them.
Just needs the opportunity.
He just needs the opportunity. You know what I mean? So I can see him going to the top. Yeah, 100%.
Spot on. Last question on MMA, bro. We move on to the meme section where you might have a little bit of a laugh here, bro. Yeah. Era FC, talk to me about that. What's going on? That's that Keen's promotion.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about that. What's going on?
He fought in the thing as well.
Yeah, I know he fought. I missed that. I had a bleeding award night, man. I went to that, but
great show. And you know what? It's been a while since like there's been Irish MMA fights frequently on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a couple.
So it's a showcase Irish talent, is it? That Era FC,
basically, and it's gonna hopefully be a platform to go from Era FC to the likes of UFC or big shows. But fuck yeah, it was a great night. Like they had professional Thai boxing fights on, high level jiu-jitsu fights on early on the day, and then obviously professional MMA. Keen and Lee were headlining the card. Unbelievable to be. It was good to just be there in an Irish MMA event again. Do you know what I mean? It was in only up the road in
Red Cow.
The Red Cow, big. It's like a marquee.
Yeah.
I've seen that. Like it's like a circus tent.
That's where Ben they do all the charity fights and all there. Yeah. There was like a
good.
DJ showcase. I went to that yoke. Craig Orman and I went to that yoke as well a while ago. Yeah.
It was good. It's brilliant, and I think they're coming back in May next year. So. Yeah, it's gonna be a big one. I think big Irish show. So definitely go to the next one.
I appreciate that. And then you, bro, 2023. What's that gonna look like for you? What's the gig there? What's going on?
I'm just gonna stay busy. You know what I mean? This year's been shite. I mean, it's very hard to get a match if you're not.
Yeah, talk to these. Like it's like, why are people pulling? What's the excuse you're getting people pulling out?
I'd be very surprised. Even there, like I put up a yoke. I can't remember like whatever. It's like 3 opponents. Like I was supposed to fight on Air FC actually.
Yeah.
Enough. So long story short. Someone pulled out from a fight, and then your man said, I'll fight, but he was a welterweight. And then Keane said, this lad's a lightweight, he's not a welterweight. And I said, I'll fight him. Perfect. 2 weeks out, no bother. And I was training, do you know what I mean? Assuming I was fighting. Keane goes, would you fight him? I goes, yeah, I'll fight him. And this bloke was in Bellator, his record was 13-3. Good lad, coming off a knockout win, solid cunt, like better record than me, bigger record than me, big 6'4", awkward, hard fight, not an easy fight by any means. And I said to Keane, yeah, I'll fight him, I'm just eager to fight, let's go, let's get this year closed out right, you know what I mean? Keane was like, right, reached out to him, and your man's coach wrote back, hey, I'll show you that message. It's embarrassing. It's actually embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. The coach was like, hey, no, he's not a real welterweight. He's a lightweight. He's trying to move down. Even though he asked for a welterweight fight. Kiefer's too tough of a lad, and we're not prepared for him. But literally, he was asking to fight someone else on the show. So now he's just saying no to me because I'm too tough of a lad. So it's like, you a fighter, or what you doing here? Do you know what I mean? I'm willing to fight you now. Instead of thinking, if I beat Kiefer, that could be a big feather in my cap. He's not even thinking like that. He's just thinking, no, I'm not fighting him, he's too tough. So, and this is a professional veteran.
I was going to say that, yeah.
And I was just like, this little bitch of a thing, do you know what I mean? And then that was one, and then another lad, he was a world champion. This was the original fight, actually, I was supposed to have on the 17th of December, which was yesterday, for a belt. FCC, he's a EFC champion, African Fighting Championships. You ever heard this?
No, actually never.
In like Johannesburg and South Africa. It's a big organisation in South Africa, huge, EFC. He's the lightweight champion of the world in that. He won the fucking belt. Huge 9-2 record, coming off loads of wins. He got touted to get into the UFC now after 2 more wins. He's a big name. He said, yeah, he's going to fight for the belt. I said, perfect. I win him. That's a big feather in me cap. You know what I mean? I beat him. I'm in the UFC. That's what I keep... He goes, yeah. I said, yeah. 4 days later, he had a change of heart. He wants a lesser of an opponent. And I was like, nah, chance. My manager, I goes, he didn't actually say it. He goes, yep. He said he wants a lesser of an opponent. And I was just like, what does that even mean, lesser of an opponent? And my record is 9, and my record's a bit false. I was going to
ask you.
My record is 10-1.
Yeah, I was going to, do you know what? I want to get onto that. I'll get onto that. That's my last question. I'll keep myself.
If you want to be real, my record is 10-1.
Yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into that after this. We'll get into that.
But we have the same record. We have the same, a bigger following than him. He's a champion. He's the champion in that, and he's also the champion in this fight. We're supposed to fight for the belt. He pulled down. And then another lad then from the Ukraine, he was 9-6, so my tough cunt again, solid lad. He said, yeah, and then he said, no, it was just like, money was wrong. People cash themselves out, you see.
Yeah.
So you could say, like, you have a small show, and they give you like $2,000 to fight, and they say, right, I want $8,000. And then they'll say, we don't have $8,000. And they say, well, I'm not fighting them then. But it's like, you know we don't have $8,000. And you don't want to say you don't want to fight them. You just want to say, well, give me this much. It's a cash out, you know what I mean? They're just cashing themselves out. So if you don't want to fight someone, you'll say a stupid number. You know what I mean? So the promoter's going to say, we can't afford it. Well, I'll move on. So it's your way out of it, you know what I mean? As opposed to saying, yeah, I'll fight for the opportunity as opposed to the cash. So it's a weird game, mate. It's a weird game. You have to be signed with someone if you want to get fights, and I'm probably gonna have to sign, to be honest.
Yeah, because I know you don't want to kind of tie yourself because you.
I didn't, but I'm after getting like I can't say too much right now. I had a meeting the other day, and there's an organisation, it's actually in the States, believe it or not, and it has a UFC out clause that every fight you can go to the UFC straight from. So they give you a 4-fight deal, it's a UFC out clause, and it's on the UFC Fight Pass, believe it or not, and a lot of fighters from that go to the UFC, so I'm most likely going to be signing with them early in the next year, in 23, and just stay busy with them, try to get to the UFC that way. Do you know what I mean? So
I appreciate you sharing that, man. I want to ask you. I would have killed myself in asking you this question, because obviously I want to get into a fighter's mindset. Yeah, winning is all great because everyone licks your ass and you're this, you're that. But in defeat, what's that like? And then obviously you've said you've only ever lost one fight. Yeah. The fight that was like a doctor stoppage, was it, or was it? Yes. You wanted it to be a no contest, and you, in fairness, you wanted to fight. Mate, I didn't. You wanted to fight. Yeah, because you had a bad cut. Yeah.
Like, I wasn't even bad. I've had worse cuts.
Yeah.
That's a Josh Planned fight. That was a bad cut.
Yeah, no, that wasn't very.
Nobody stopped that from happening.
Yeah.
I had to get 20 stitches or something. Yeah. That was like, you can see his scars. Like a fucking. This thing was nothing. I didn't even know it was cut. It wasn't bleeding. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And they just waved it off. Long story short, that doctor was his first ever MMA event. He's never done an MMA event before. He was inexperienced. I got a phone call the next day off my doctor, and he said he rang up, found out who the doctor was. He said he had no right to be even there that night. Seeing as though it was COVID, it was happening behind closed doors. They were scrambling around.
Just get someone in.
Just waved it off immediately. So someone must have said, if you see a cut, wave it off. He didn't even examine me. He just went like this, and I was like, why is he waving this off? Like, could someone not check this cut now? I didn't even know it was cut. Because normally if you're cut, you see blood everywhere. There's no blood. So I was thinking, and the only reason they're normally supposed to stop it for a cut is because the blood is going into your eyes and hampering with your vision. So if you keep wiping the blood out of your eye and they can't stop the bleeding, then they have to stop it. I wasn't even bleeding. I got up off the stool, and man, I broke my heart that fight did, because it was a mad fight. It was a war, me and Charlie there. Fair play to him, he's a tough cunt. He's like a bleeding concrete.
Ex-footballer. Mad, isn't it?
Footballer.
Ex-semi-pro,
Solid cunt, A veteran. Fought like 35 fights before he even fought him that night, you know what I mean? So he's the most experienced fighter I fought, and then the next one was even more experienced, Georgie. But a mad fight, hard fight in the first one. But I was on the stool and I was tired, but I looked over and it looked like he was beat. It looked like he had one good round, and I was looking at him, I was like, oh, he's actually fucked. And I was thinking, right, change it up now, take him down. So I was thinking, going the second round, I'm actually going to grapple him now. I'm not going to stand with him because he's bollocks. And if I get him down and I wear on him, I can win this. You know what I mean? Be smart now. So I stood up first and I was bouncing and I was looking at him. He was standing up second. I was like, oh, he's done. He's actually bollocks. I could see it in his demeanour. He was looking around. And I was like, right. And then when they stopped it, I was just like, fuck this. Like, but they should have called it no contest, because if I'm saying, listen, I want to fight, I should ultimately get the choice. Unfortunately, they said no. How was that a win? He didn't win, you know what I mean? They stopped a fight from continuing, so that's not a loss.
And the other one was a DQ.
The other one was a DQ, my most dominant fight. I hit the bloke with about 48 elbows, and then a knee, when his knee was on the ground, and KO job, but that was a mad one.
What I loved about, and this is my final MMA question, you're fine, bro. You proper Irish lad. What are you doing? Did you know that you can get fine for that?
No. So we had a rules meeting the day before, the day of the fight. They do a big rules meeting. I'm not even going to mention this cunt's name because I actually despise the man.
I hear it.
He's a wanker. Yeah. He's the biggest. He's the biggest cunt on the planet. Like, honest, this fella is just a prick. Everything. Yeah. Whatever. They're on a rules meeting, and he says, right, you're going to be live on TV. It's going to be crowd in attendance. Act accordingly. Act professional. Blah blah blah. Bear in mind, act professionally, there's going to be kids in attendance. This is a fucking cage fight where we're in there stripping down to almost nothing and literally going to hurt each other as much as we physically can. There's going to be blood everywhere, going to probably break your nose, could mount you and elbow the head off you. So if there is kids in attendance and it's supposed to be friendly, how the fuck is me doing this worse than me literally elbowing someone's teeth out of their head? Like, I can't understand that, but whatever. So yeah, man, the fella I was fighting, actually, he was a tough cunt. He's from Guinea-Bissau. Solid lad, like a sprinter, powerlifting champion, high-level kickboxing champion, Muay Thai champion. Never seen anything like it before. He was literally carved out of stone. And even when I grabbed a hold of him, it was almost like grabbing a concrete pillar. Like, I grabbed him and I was like, this fella doesn't feel human.
Fucking fighting, I can fem
like,
with.
He felt fucking like steel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I felt like I couldn't even move him like a normal person. He was so strong, you know what I mean? But ended up on my back, he stood up, and I wanted him to come into my back because his jiu-jitsu wasn't good. And I knew his jiu-jitsu, he got knee-barred before, so I always think, I'm going to leg lock this cunt. He's actually pretty sloppy on the ground. He's a strong lad, but he makes mistakes. So I always think, come into me guard. So I wanted him to come in. And so I did this in order to emotionally piss him off, so he'd jump in, try to hit me, and as he tries to hit me, I'll grapple him, whatever. Tactic didn't work, but man, listen, yeah, I went backstage, went into the medical room after the fight. You have to. I'm sitting on the bed, and like they're looking at me face and the whole lot. Next of all, the door, boom, gets booted through. And I'm talking like he boots the door. That's it, you're fine. 10 G's, that's it. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, what? And he's like, you're fine, you stuck your middle finger up, I told you. And I'm like, what are you talking about, you mad thing? Like, how am I finding 10 grand? 10 grand? Like, I'm looking around, is he mental? That's it, no, that's it. I'm making an example out of you. And I'm there sitting there, I'm like, this cunt's mental. Storms out of the room. And my manager's like, just just calm down. I'll talk to him. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, mate, 10 grand, hardly for what? Like, I stuck my finger up.
That's so Irish.
I had to write a formal apology. I've never done it. I had to do it.
Yeah.
Back and forth in emails, and then he goes, right, I'm going to cut it in half. I'm still making an example out of you. It's going to be 5 grand. I'm like, mate, listen, can you just not find me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. Stick my fingers up. It's whatever, do you know what I mean? Get over it. Like, now making an example out of you. But someone told me that if I didn't email him, he wouldn't have found me. I reminded him about the fine. Do you get me?
Oh, shit, yeah,
I sparked his memory, and he thought, no, do you know what? Actually, I'm going to make an example. He would have forgot about it. Because people are telling me, don't email him. Just and I was like, I have to email him. He's going to take this money out of me fucking purse. Like, 10 grand. I don't fucking, you know, I had the fucking, it broke my heart giving that cunt money. I was like, for what? Like, you know what I mean? But I made for a good snap for the gram like that.
Class, bro. Listen, I appreciate you, man, giving me your story, and hopefully people at home are watching are inspired by some of the conversations that we've had, and again, I appreciate you coming on. Just
and likewise, bro, keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Too, do you know what I mean? Regardless of what we're doing here,
yeah.
The work ethic is the same, the mindset is the same, the graft is the same. You just put the fucking hours in, the hours that nobody see, and eventually they'll pay off. You think they're not going to pay off, but they will eventually.
Yeah.
And the real payoff is this: you're enjoying doing what you're doing and finding that contentment in this. You know what I mean? You're sitting here doing what you want to do, because you could be out there doing something you don't want to do, or something you shouldn't be doing, or whatever. Doing something like this takes balls. You know what I mean? Podcast people think is a handy gig. I was sitting there having a chat. You try having a chat for more than an hour and keeping it interesting with cameras and, you know, not rattling and fucking things. It's a skill set and an art, and I respect that. You know what I mean? And people just overlook it, like, look at all these cunts just doing podcasts. Who do they think they are?
Stop.
You try to do it. You haven't got the balls to do it.
I seen a meme the other day, bro. There's more podcasts than gas in Dublin these days.
It's probably true, to be honest. I wouldn't say that's wrong, yeah.
Just 2 questions left, bro, and this is the meme section, bro. Yeah, so listen, we're gonna talk in the third person here, right?
Yeah,
so
okay,
this is not gonna be about like your partner now, right?
Okay.
So I just seen this meme, and because you're a TikTok comment, I said, right, let me have a bit of banter with this guy, yeah. So it's called the meme section. So I just read out a meme and we both react to it, right? So I just seen this the other day. I said, we'll have a bit of crack with this. So it goes, her nut matters more than mine.
Her nut matters more than mine.
You
Fuck
agree?
now.
Yes, it doesn't. Do you know why, right, bro? I'm at after party last week, David, yeah? After party last week, Mrs. didn't go out, right? When I'm drinking, you know yourself, bro, you're drinking. Bro, my eyes are red, went in, wake me, Mrs. away, wake up, you know what I mean? Went in, flipped her over, yeah? I mean, no, when you're drunk now, like, it's your best moves, yeah, you're giving it large, bro. I'm going, Billy Big Bollocks, right? Woke up next day, I was thinking I'm the man, right? Goes to her, babe.
Good night last night.
Good night, I was like, was it? She goes, no, babe, oh shit. I go, yeah, me or you? She goes, most nights. Goes, me or you? She goes, no, you. We're fucking shit. I was like, what? Do you know what? I was like, do you know what? Fuck that. I got mine.
The real question is, were you happy?
That's what I'm saying.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
Brilliant, bro. Brilliant. I love it. And the last question, bro. Hey, they on that bollocks. Last question, bro. So it's a question for you. It's called one question only. So you, my guest, get to ask me a question. Any question you want to ask me, and I have to answer, and then we close, bro. Yeah. So, question for me, bro.
What's your number one ultimate goal in life?
Oh, it's a good one.
Above all, what's your number one?
Oh, bro, it's something that you said, and I was thinking about this the other day. Yeah. I'm actually, do you know what? I did forget about it. I'm glad you asked me this, right? I want to buy my house. I know that's simple, but that's the like when you hear
theory, it's
when
simple,
you
yeah,
you get me. In theory, it's hard. It's hard, but it's like I hear athletes say this all the time. Rappers, singers. You even said it. You're supporting your family. I remember watching Ronaldo's documentary, and he was like, you know, he does everything for his family. He gave me everything goes through him, whatever. And I want to be the big like generational wealth of my family. I want to be the one that changes my family's life, right? And I was dropping the kids off because I dropped my kids off to my ma's, cause me and my missus walk. And bro, I'll show you a video after this shoot. Rob Carter saw me ma's gaff, bro, born the night before, on fire. And like I said, yeah, I love my area, broke out all this, but no, I don't like outside my ma's house. Come on, you know what I mean? So that's when I'm like, I'm doing this, and it's like having someone like you on, getting people profile like you, and being able to walk, like getting sponsorships, whatever, will enable me because there's money in this game, the internet game, there's money in it. Doing live shows, whatever. It's just I want to just get me my out of these estates, and I don't want my children around us because, bro, it's just. Look, nothing against my man and all that, like, but you are born in a car and leaving out, so right where my man lives, like, bro, I dropped the kids, I was walking, I was like, it's heavy, bro, it's heartbreaking, you know what I mean? So that's my ultimate goal, is just be able to buy me my house, give back to her, because I can never give back to her, she gave me life, you get me? But this is my thank you to you, be able to buy her a home, bro, so that's it, bro,
Keep doing what you're doing, keep the head screwed on, do you know what I mean? Keep putting the hours in, because hours pay, you know what I mean? That's all it is, man. Anyone that's ever made it to the top will tell you the same thing, same formula, just keep going. And when you want to stop, keep going. And when you feel like, nah, that's enough now, you just keep going. And when you feel like, nah, do you know what, I'm actually done, you got to just keep going. There's no second place to this. It's like, no, you just got to fucking keep going. And you're going to hit walls, man. You're going to hit the floor, and you're going to be like, you know, I'm actually done with everything. No, you keep fucking going. Because they're the ones that then look back, go, fuck yeah, remember I was going to give up. Remember I was actually going to jack this in. Remember I was going to stop. Anyone at Ronaldo, all these stories, they're very similar. The Michael Jordans, it's like the people that are, like, I'm fascinated with Michael Jordan, and he's one of my heroes, you know what I mean? And the, like, Venus and Serena Williams and, like, Muhammad Ali, all these people that, like, I look at and I'm like, what is similar to Tiger Woods? What's that documentary? Like, what are they doing different? All they're doing is putting more hours into their craft. You think it's luck. It's not luck, it's hours, and you don't see the hours. It's the hours you don't see. Read a good book, it's called Bounce. I don't know if you've ever heard of read it. It'll change your mindset on everything. Bounce, it's called. It's basically
I'm gonna put it in my diary now.
It's a serious book, It's basically the hours that you put in versus the talent that you're supposed to have. Talent doesn't exist. It's hours of practice that exist. You know what I mean? Michael Jordan used to stay back 2 hours after the fucking gym was closed in the dark, shooting free throws and getting them in. On his own, the janitor used to come in and be like, what are you doing? He's like, I just want to keep practicing. And everyone's gone home, it's dark, the lights are off. And he's like, I know, but I'm just going to keep practicing 2 hours. No one does that. Michael Jordan does that, though. You know what I mean? And then he's Michael Jordan. Venus and Serena Williams, watch that film.
I watched that film, with Will Smith.
It doesn't matter. Before school, after school, they're hitting them balls and the dad's pushing them. And why are they the best? Oh, they're just talented. No, man. They're fucking up at 6 a.m. hitting that shit 3 hours before school, and then they're doing, after school, they're doing more, 4 hours more, and then they're going home watching tape. The dad's grilling them, they're reading notes, and that's different level. Tiger Woods, all of these people, like Connor, anyone that's great and anything, it's just hours accumulated up, and then they mastered it, and then they're just different gravy. Like, you know, Joe Rogan, same thing. Podcast. What's his first podcast? And even his mates are like, what even fucking is this? Just video on us talking. He's like, no, just there's something in this. And I'm just I like doing it. Now he's fucking Joe Rogan. 100 million deals he's doing. It's, do you know what I'm saying? You just got to put the fucking hours in and like what you do, and that's it.
I prefer really not to.
No, you're not, bro. Good as well.
If I speak, I am in
nice one, bro.
big trouble.
Boys and girls, like, subscribe, all that bollocks, yeah? Kiefer, appreciate it, bro. Legend, bro.
Turn me up, kid, Spiral.